Are you house hunting in Hamilton right now? Well, then you're probably running into a similar problem that most buyers are running into, which is overpriced listings that don't match reality. A lot of sellers are still clinging to 2021 prices like nothing's changed. I've seen listings that are $50, $75, even $100,000 overpriced. It's like they're just waiting for somebody to walk in, fall in love, and completely overpay an outrageous amount. And the really annoying part is that even if you put in a reasonable offer that's based on market data, they still don't accept it. And that's what makes this market feel so frustrating because yes, there is a lot of inventory out there, but a lot of it isn't priced to sell. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why sellers are stuck this way and what it means for you as a buyer and how you can still win in this market without overpaying, without missing out on the right home, and without wasting time on stubborn sellers. My name is Steve LoPresti. I'm a real estate agent here in Hamilton, Ontario. And if you're a first-time buyer, I totally understand why you can be looking at this current market and feel a little bit frustrated. You might be doing all the right things. You pre-approved, you're trying to check the market and find listings that fit your budget. But when half the inventory is overpriced and sellers aren't budging at all on their price, it can feel like the system is broken. This video is here to help you cut through all the noise so that you can make better decisions. And if you have any questions at all about your Hamilton home buying journey, feel free to reach out to me. My contact info is down in the description. I'd love to help you out. So there's a couple problems in the marketplace, and that is what's causing sellers to be overpriced. So the first one is price anchoring. The fact of the matter is most sellers could have gotten a lot more money for their house if they had sold it a couple years ago during COVID compared to what it would now sell for today. So even though prices are still much higher than when they most likely bought it, it still is that new number that they had stuck in their brain from what they could have gotten during COVID that's keeping them from accepting reality today. Here's an example. Let's say you get a job and they're paying you $50,000 per year, and then the second year they decide to increase your pay to $100,000 per year. Then after that, in year 3, they decide to cut your pay down to $70,000 per year. You probably wouldn't be too happy about that. I know I certainly wouldn't. But if you look at it objectively, a jump from $50,000 to $70,000 in 2 years is still a pretty good pay. And if you didn't have that $100,000 in the middle there, you would be super happy with that pay that you're now getting. It's the same thing with sellers right now. They might have bought their house for, let's say, $500,000, but during COVID, they could have sold it for $9,000, but that's what everybody on the street was selling for. And now today, they can only sell it for $700,000. They've made a $200,000 gain on their property, but because we had that outlier during a period of time with massive inflation and a worldwide pandemic, now they're stuck thinking about that price and they can't accept the new reality, which honestly isn't even that bad if you think about it compared to what they bought their house for. So that's one of the problems that we have, and that kind of leads into the next one, problem number 2, which is sellers basing their price off of what they want or what they need for their house, not what the market is telling them the house is worth. So you'll hear things like, oh, but we need $850,000 to buy our next home, or we put $70,000 worth of renos into it, so it should be now worth $70,000 more. Or another one I hear a lot is, we're not taking less than we paid for the house. Now that last one is a really unfortunate situation. A lot of people did buy super high at the market and now they have to sell. It's unfortunate, but it doesn't mean that you as a buyer should then come in and overpay for their house just because they're the ones who overpaid. Just because the number makes sense for them personally doesn't mean that it's actually what the home is worth, and doesn't mean it makes sense for you to come along and pay that. It would be like walking into a store and seeing a $50 hoodie listed for $100 just because that store needs to hit their monthly quotas. That's not how value works, and as a buyer this can be pretty frustrating because you're going out there, you're looking at all these beautiful homes that seem to be reasonable and like you could afford them if you could actually get them at the market price, but the problem is the sellers won't accept the market price. At least not yet anyways. Now, the third problem is a little bit of a tricky one. This might get me into some trouble. I don't know. We'll see. But it's agents who don't set the right expectation. So not all sellers are unreasonable. Some of them are just getting bad advice. So typically how it works when a seller is hiring a real estate agent to sell their house, a lot of times they're interviewing more than one agent. Now, as real estate agents, we only get paid if we sell the house because we're 100% commission based, which means if we don't sell the house, we don't get the listing, we get nothing. Now, because we are commission based and it's a competitive industry, a lot of agents will tell sellers what they want to hear in order to get the listing, not necessarily what they need to hear or what is based on reality. So let's say you're the agent doing one of these listing presentations. You know that the home is only worth $600,000, but you know that the sellers are interviewing several other agents. So what you do is, instead of telling them you can get $600,000 like all the other agents are doing, you tell them, you know what? I'm pretty confident I can get you 7. Now, if the seller knew the market 100%, they wouldn't be hiring a real estate agent in the first place to market their house for them. So they're going to trust you. And if you come along and tell them you can get them a certain number that's higher than what everybody else is telling them, they're going to be intrigued by that. So they end up hiring you, and then you list at 700, and now the home is sitting for several months because it's not worth 700. Eventually you will lower the price so that you can get paid your commission, but it took a lot longer than it had to. So those are a few of the reasons that are causing a lot of these listings to be overpriced. Now, if you're having some trouble navigating this market and you want to have a clearer picture of what you should be doing right now, then feel free to download my First-Time Homebuyer Survival Guide. It's down in the description, completely free. It'll just walk you through the entire process, start to finish, so that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to look cool while you're doing it. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. All right, so if sellers are pricing too high, their agents aren't always correcting them, and it seems like emotions are running the show, how do you actually win as a buyer in this market? Seems like the challenges never go away. Back during COVID, the problem was bidding wars and you had to outcompete 20 other people. Now it's the opposite. Now it's trying to convince sellers to accept your offer, even if it's right at market value and it's completely fair. The first thing that I would recommend you do is don't get emotionally attached to any of these houses. This is particularly difficult, especially if the house looks like it would be a perfect match for you and you can start to visualize yourself living there and starting a family. But getting emotionally attached to a house that is $80,000 overpriced is just setting you up for heartbreak. If it's not priced realistically, then just walk away or wait it out. Many sellers will come back down in their price after several weeks of no offers, so sometimes you just got to play a bit of a waiting game. Now, the second thing that I'd recommend you do is to base your offer price on recent comparable sales. When you're putting in an offer, your real estate agent should be doing a comparative market analysis for you. What that is basically it takes that listing that you're interested in and then you find several other listings that are similar to it. They're in a nearby location. They're similar in terms of square footage, the amount of bedrooms, the finishes, that sort of thing. And they look at what those homes sold for. And then you use that to come up with your offer price. It's very important that you go back to recent sales because you don't want to be going back too far. Like I said, you don't want to be going back to COVID because that's what the sellers are doing. And that's why they're coming up with these unrealistic prices. Don't cherry pick listings that fit what you want it to be. Rather, look at what's actually happening today. 30 to 90 days is a good sweet spot to use for this. But it depends on the property, right? If it's something that's rural, there's not too many nearby, then you can go back a little bit further to find something, but it really depends on the property type. But rule of thumb, 30 to 90 days. So now let's say you found your comparable properties and the range that you're seeing is about 600 to 650, let's say. That's roughly the range that you're working in, and that's roughly what the home is worth. It might go slightly above, it might go slightly below, but that is roughly where the value lies. Now, one very important point I want to make here is that you don't want to come in with a lowball offer either in this scenario. It's basically the buyer equivalent of what the seller is doing when they overprice their home. You're doing the opposite. You're trying to underprice it. So let's say in that scenario, if it's worth 6 to 650, coming in at 500 is well below what the home is worth, and it's most likely not going to get accepted, and sometimes that can even shut down negotiations entirely. So if you want to start low and work your way up, that's totally reasonable, but start on the lower end of what the market is saying the home is worth. Don't start completely well below, like at an unreasonable level, because it's not going to do anything. It's just going to waste a bunch of time, and it might lose you the house entirely. So yeah, house hunting in Hamilton can feel like a bit of a mess right now, but if you follow the steps that I've given you, you don't get emotional when you're looking at these homes, trying to get emotionally attached. You base your offer based on recent comparable sales and actual market data, not what you think the home is worth, but rather what the home is actually worth, then you'll do okay. And if you've been eyeing a home that you're not quite sure what would be an appropriate offer, reach out to me. I'd love to help you figure out exactly what would be a fair offer based on fair market value so that you don't overpay for something. And don't forget to download the free First-Time Homebuyer Survival Guide if you just want a comprehensive guide walking through the entire process, start to finish. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can hit this button over here to do that. You can also check out this video over here for some more Hamilton real estate tips. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.